Positive, feel-good radio. This is E-Radio.
It is time for Greatness Coaching with Heidi M right here on E-Radio. Heidi, how's it going?
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Excellent. I'm well. Thank you. I was very much looking forward to today's conversation with you because I do have a few questions I want to ask you. Do you want to tell our listeners what I'm going to ask you questions about?
I look forward to it. Today, of course, talking about social media versus reality. And our caption for this is, "Wake up and smell the roses, darling."
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
That is indeed the situation. Yes, social media is warping our reality. It is making our reality something that is out of shape and out of proportion, to be frank. And then in light of that, I wanted to ask you, because you, Ian, went off social media a few months or years ago, not long ago. You went off social media for a while, and I wanted to know what prompted you to go off your social media for a bit, your Facebook.
Yeah, that was my Facebook. I think that was before I joined Instagram. But yeah, Heidi, I think thinking back now, I think the main thing was I was overwhelmed by negativity and things that didn't make me happy. I think it was just all too much. You know, it was like really overwhelming. And I just I needed to unplug, as it were. And just,
Yes.
disconnect, so to speak.
And what made you realize that you were overwhelmed?
I could actually feel it. I think it was affecting my my mental health. You know, you just know. And you go on there and you're like, oh my gosh, look at how much time I'm spending on this. I'm constantly on Facebook and checking what other people are saying and posting and you respond to it internally, even if you don't respond to it by clicking a comment or whatever.
That is the most... That's where you're hitting the nail on the head. You respond to it internally. And that is a big component of this that we often overlook. Because we think our response is, okay, I replied, or I pressed the like button, I have a thumbs up or a little heart. And we see the external evidence of our responses, but very few people do what you did and sit still and actually feel the internal responses, let alone the effect of those internal responses on your everyday life. And if you are hammered and bombarded with that for a long, long period of time and you don't take control and you don't take charge, then you are going to fall into a big downward slump and downward spiral that is going to be very difficult to get out of. Because essentially social media is an addiction.
Yeah,
it is a tool that is used extensively and religiously by people from all walks of life, all different cultures, all different lifestyles, all different upbringings, and they are all subjected, and we are all subjected to these posts, these feeds, these videos, and lives of people who are not them. It's not their lives. It's not their posts. It's not their feed. You are constantly and relentlessly exposing yourself to other people's lives. And we are so exposed to these alternate universes every single day of every single week that it is bound to become imprinted somewhere within your mind. And we look at other people's lives because, I mean, let's face it, Ian, I'm not going to put my worst pic and my worst moments on Instagram or Facebook. Those are the two that I use most And to be honest with you, I wish I could actually delete those out of my life. But because of my career and who I am, I need that as a tool to reach people, to market myself.
Exactly.
And I've got such a rich life and so many different things that I do and such a variety that there is always something to post and talk about as far as I'm concerned. But I wish I could shut it down. And somehow I find that it's not easy to shut it down just a little. You know, it seems to me like it's going to have to be an either or, unless I'm just an all or nothing person. I know it is when it comes to chocolate. I should either not have it in the house, or if I have a slab of it, I know I'm going to munch the whole thing before long. So it's very difficult. You know, you can't be a little bit addicted to heroin. You can't be a little bit pregnant. You can't be a little bit broke. It's the same thing. You are invaded by this thing, or you are not. So I think the best way to be looking after yourself is to actually keeping a keen eye on yourself. So you're looking at these alternate universes that are created for you, because like we said, people don't post their most awful moments and most awful pictures. Even those pictures where women say, post your picture without makeup, just waking up in the morning. And I'm looking at these and I'm going, yeah, right.
Asseblief.
Yeah,
that's the biggest BS.
Yeah, please. I shame. And then there is always the one or two who are very honest and they do that, and then they look awful. So it's not fair. It's just not fair. So I just don't partake in those, you know. So I fell into the trap of this warped reality with myself a little bit. And this was not long ago, Eon. This was in 2020.
Oh, wow.
I remember it was lockdown and I was posting on Instagram up a storm. And with Instagram, seriously, you have to tweak the lighting a tiny bit and just proportion your face a little bit, just making sure that you look your best, you know, that you look your absolute best. There's a wonderful a range of apps that you can use to just Photoshop and tweak a tiny bit so that you still look like yourself. You know, you get these people who post like especially their profile pictures and then you don't recognize.
Totally unrecognizable. They always say, what do you do when somebody like that goes missing?
Oh, this is terrible. Try and find their mugshot or
exactly.
ID shot.
Nobody's going to recognize them.
I was doing this a little bit of photoshopping. I don't even like calling it photoshopping. That's how vain I was in that moment. I just call it tweaking my pics a little bit, and it's relentless posting because we're all at home. And then one day I looked at myself in the mirror and I was astounded at how broad my face was and how I thought, like, oh my goodness, what happened to my cheekbones? I can't find them. Did I gain weight? No, I didn't gain weight. My clothes are still. And then I realized I got so used to seeing myself through the filter.
Yeah.
Myself, Eon. And I am an educated, trained person who is fully aware of all these things. And I fell into that trap of making myself, tweaking myself to the extent that I did it so often that I was upset with what I looked like in reality in that moment. And then I just sit down with myself and say, hang on a minute. This is the reality that I'm seeing in front of me now. Not the pictures so much. And yes, it was just tiny little tweaks and changes. But in the long run, it did change my mind about myself, and not for the better. So it's easy to fall into the trap. Then I want to ask you, Eon, you were the person who realized that it's changing you on the inside and you didn't like it. Why did it or did it not work for you to be off the social media for that time?
Okay, so why did I have the need to return?
Yeah, basically. And so soon, because I remember it wasn't long and you were back, and I was very happy to see you again.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about me. I always announce it, I won't just do it. I have to make an announcement.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
And that is the social media disease. We have to announce on social media that we hate social media.
Yes, exactly.
Why did you return, Eon, and why did you return so soon?
Okay, well, that is quite an easy answer, actually, Heidi. And that was because of work. And that's the reason why I'm still on it right now, actually. I wouldn't say it's for family or friends, because we keep in touch on other things like WhatsApp. But most definitely for work, and just like you, you also need social media in your profession, and the same for me. I also operate a few groups and pages, and I need Facebook to access them. So I would say that's the main reason why I'm still on there today.
And people who do not operate all these groups that we do, and all these pages that you do, and who are not on there for work, want to be on there for social reasons, and those reasons are just as valid as ours.
Yeah,
it's valid. It's 100% valid. So you see, we have the need to conform. We have the need, all human beings, to be part of the group, to be the same. Nobody wants to be different or outcast. So like we've said in the past, if you are different, if you get rejected, if you are not the same as the group and you move outside of a group, in our primitive brains, we think we are going to die. So that's true. We have the need to be on there, whatever our reasons are. So what I would love for us to just have a little think about, and I had my think last year when I fell into the trap, and I'm going to think about it again and constantly remind myself that when you are watching other people's lives and you get so absorbed in it and so sucked in, that those lives are not yours. It's not your life. You need to constantly check in with yourself in your three lives that you have. You have a personal life, you have a private life, and you have a social life. Oh, wait, here's the fourth one, and the spiritual life. So the personal life is not the same as a private life. A personal life is me, Heidi, the person, and I am showing videos of myself at the gym because that's what I do in my free time. That's a personal thing. I go to gym, but my private life is private. You won't see anything about my private life on social media. Social life that we can easily put on social media, getting together at a braai or with friends or at a party. And then your spiritual life, I think that's up to you if you want to put your spiritual life on social media. I mean, many people have spiritual or religious groups that they have on social media, and maybe they want to interact there. But as long as you can decide for yourself which part of those four aspects of your life do you want to expose, and which should all four of them be there, or should there be one or two that you keep just to yourself? I think it's an extremely good idea to keep some of those lives to yourself, between you and your family members, or your closest ones, or your loved one, your nearest and dearest. I don't think it's a good thing to splash everything in all four lives that you have, that all of us have, on social media. I think there should be a little bit of it that you hold on to, just for yourself. And in that way, I'm sure we can keep a little bit of sanity. And secondly, a big thing is that you have to control the time that you are spending, the amount of time per day on social media, and to know that if somebody posted something now, it will most probably still be there tomorrow. You don't have to reply or like seconds after it was posted. If you put down your phone, or if you close your app, and say to yourself, this hour I'm not checking anything. These 3 hours is time with my family. I'm going to post on Wednesday mornings between 12 and 1, for example, Wednesday afternoons between 12 and 1, and that's my time that I post, and then I'll check for replies and likes and so on later on, like let's say on a Friday or something. If you can manage your time with logic and with being sensible, I think we can live it. We can do this. We can do this thing. But applying a good old little bit of that common sense, which unfortunately isn't always too common.
Heidi, it is so interesting for me to hear a very well-educated lady like yourself being stuck in that whole warped reality at one stage. And well done for admitting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for admitting it. I mean, that's brilliant. But so many people are stuck and they don't even know. That's the problem. You need to know you have a problem in order to fix it. So they just carry on like that and then believe that they look like that. They've got the J-Lo ass and they've got those big lips. They've got those filters. They just believe they look like that. When will you take off those rose-colored glasses? Because you're going to be so shocked. You'll probably run away.
Check in with yourself. For crying out loud, check in with yourself. That's the thing.
Check in with yourself.
Check in with yourself.
Absolutely.
And like you said, smell the roses. Wake up to the fact to where your reality really lies. Don't lose touch with reality. It's sad if you do. It's really sad. Yeah, people will pity you. That's not attractive.
Yeah, exactly. There is life outside Instagram. That's the big thing. Remember that.
Thank you kindly. Indeed.
Yes. Thank you, Heidi. This was very insightful. We actually have a social media chat as well on a Monday afternoon with Carla from the Digital Law Company. We always talk about these kind of things. And then a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about screen time and how I think 94% of South African children are exceeding the daily limits of screen time, and they're just all on Instagram and on TikTok. That's the other one that's very, very popular at the moment.
That's
These short
one.
videos that go around. One. And everybody's a TikTok star, eh? Everybody's a TikTok star. Don't make a mistake.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy and a little bit scary. So, if you have children, children's brains are not fully developed, and you as a responsible adult, I assume that you are responsible. If you ventured down the road of having children, you should be responsible. You have to then manage their screen time for them and tell them what you're doing. Explain to your children what you are doing and why you are doing it, and then help them to learn to manage this for themselves for the future.
Yes. Heidi, thank you so much. That was social media versus reality. Hopefully, people will wake up and smell the roses. Very, very important. And while you're at it, take off your rose-colored glasses as well.
That's it. And now, are we now going to tell the listeners where they can get hold of me on social media?
Oh my gosh, the irony is huge. But yes, I think that's probably something we should do.
at Greatness Coaching with Heidi M on Facebook and at Greatness Coaching on Instagram. There you go. And can I just add that any photos that you see of myself, of me, Heidi, during this time, this is what I really look like.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. No filters needed.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah.
Flattery will get you everywhere. Thank you so much.
It's only the
Have
truth.
a good one.
You
Keep
too,
well, my
Heidi.
friend.
You too. Thank you.
Cheers.